Rob. Hope everybody's doing well. I guess I'm going to try to do another version of this video lesson, the mixture problems quiz, because honestly, this is one of the more troublesome units for me. This is part of systems of equations, applications, mixtures. These are not fun, but they're not that hard at the same time. You just have to really be careful of what you're doing. So let's do a little bit of groundwork. First of all, you'll notice that I created a tic-tac-toe grid. That's a good idea to create for all these problems. Another thing you want to keep in mind is that if you go down, you tend to add quantities as you go down. And usually the columns are units of amount, and then percentages of something or some kind of concentration of something. And this is a total. As you go to the right, you multiply your values. So as you go to the right, you're going to multiply out. So anything in this column and anything in this column will come up with a product here. And the same thing below. And that's pretty much it. You just have to remember that. And then the big thing is when you do the problems, you have to decide what goes where. That's the harder part. So we're going to take the first one on. It's one of those chocolate problems, chocolate and trail mix. So what's going to happen is that each row will represent one of the mixtures, and we're going to put them together with what we know. They want to know right off the bat how many pounds of chocolate costing $16.90 per pound will we need to mix with 20 pounds of trail mix costing $3.60 per pound to make a new mixture costing $8.32 per pound. All right, now the first thing that gets people confused is what goes here. Well, if you remember what I told you here, that'll be easy. It'll just be x plus 20 is what goes there. That total amount of pounds plus pounds equals pounds. So total poundage will be x plus 20. So you're going to have to look for x. Now multiplying across, this one's easy. That's 16.9x. Not too bad. I just make sure I don't write that as a 6. Now 20 times 3.6, actually I know this already, but I want to make sure, is 72. And it's good to have a calculator on hand just so you can do this kind of stuff without taking too much time. 72. And now if you remember what I said to do, we're going to have to find some way to equate these with these. So we're going to multiply this with that. And we're going to get 8.32x plus something, right? 20 times 8.32. 20 times 8.32 is 166.4. 166.4. I gotta remember that, so I'm gonna put that down. 166.4. Okay, so we're ready to work. The only problem I'm really having here is that I've run out of room, so I'm gonna write over here. Let's see what we got here. Okay, 16.90x plus 72. Remember, as we go down, we add. It's going to be 8.32x plus 166.4. I'm going to erase so I can have a little bit more room here. Let me get rid of this. How come it's not doing it? That's really annoying, I swear. Okay, let's try that this way. Okay, I'm going to get rid of that stuff just so I have room to play around with. And the first thing I'm going to need to do is bring this over. So 16.9 minus 8.32 will give me 8.58. So that's what's going to go here. 8.58x. And you notice that I'm going to have to bring the 72 over, subtract 72 from both sides. So that's going to be 166.4 minus 72. And that's going to give me 94.4. Obviously, the next step is going to be to divide out. So 94.4 divided by 8.58 will give me 11 pounds. 11 pounds. So x is equal to 11 pounds. And if x is equal to 11 pounds, remember I add as I go down. 11 plus 20, this is representing 31 pounds altogether. So that's what you're going to put into the solution. And we're going to put that exact thing in. So I need to mix 11 pounds per chocolate, 10 reverse whole pound. It doesn't want what the total is, but we could have given it to it. Check the answer, and we got that right. So far so good. We're doing well. Let's move on to the next page. clean our slate. Next question. Okay, alcohol. You think it's hard, it's really not. You just have to remember one thing beyond the addition grid that I told you. Addition in that direction, multiplication in that direction. Also remember that alcohol will have concentrations, and concentrations can go from either 0% to 100%. If you have 0%, that basically means you don't have any alcohol at all, so it's just water. And if you have 100%, that's all alcohol. Okay, so you have to remember that, because that's the extra piece of these problems that people tend to forget. If it's 0%, it's water. If it's pure, they say, or if it's 100% alcohol, okay, it's all alcohol. You got to remember that, because you do need to use it. It's kind of accepted that you're going to know it, but you may not remember it. Otherwise, things will happen pretty much the same. You got to figure out where things go. Okay, now, one thing to look at here is we need a 55% alcohol solution. So translate 55% into 0.55. What else do we have? We have 60 milliliters of 40% alcohol. So 60 milliliters of 40%. Okay, that's going to be 24. If you multiply across, 60 times 0.40 is 24. And then we also have a 60% alcohol mixture, right, of something that we don't know what it is. Okay, we don't know how much of that was there. And we're going to need to add that up as we go down. So 60 plus y, and this is going to be 0.60 y here, multiplying across. And again, like we did before, we're going to have to put the multiplier of the bottom right grid together. So 60 times 0.55. 60 times 0.55 is 33. Really? Okay. That's a nice, easy number. 33 plus 0.55y. And remember, as you add down, you're going to have to sum up 24 plus 0.60y to give you that combined mix of 33 plus 0.55y. I do recommend you take these slowly. Make sure you know what we're doing before you proceed. I'm going to bring them over, combine terms. That's going to give me 0.05y is equal to 9, if I do that correctly. 33 minus 24 is 9. And obviously I need to divide out. I could show you a trick. I guess I could. I multiplied by 100 here, and I would get 5y. And multiply by 100 here, I get 900. That really helps a little bit if you're doing it by hand, because you get rid of the decimals. So y. Divide by 5, you get y. 5 goes into 9 once. 5 goes into, with a remainder of 4, 5 goes into 48 times. So y is equal to 180. That means that y is equal to 180. Add that to 60, you get your total amount of 240 milliliters. And that may be asking you what it wants. Sometimes it does, sometimes it won't. In this case, it didn't. So we're going to need 180 milliliters of the 60% solution. So we're going to put that in. 180. Hit enter. We got that right. So I'm hoping you're seeing that these are actually a little bit easier than anticipated. You just have to have a way of working with it. You need to have a framework. Okay, at this point, remember, we have the same kind of problems again. This is going to be alcohol one more time. We've got, again, remember that as you go across, it's going to be multiplying. As you go down, it's going to be adding. And again, put things where they belong. Since you need this, you're going to put the 55% here. Is that the same one? Oh, I didn't change my page. Never mind that. Let's start with the new problem. Let me go to the next page. Okay. So let's see what we have here. Same kind of thing. All right, really the same thing. So we need to mix a 10% saline solution. Okay. And we're going to need to mix it with a 50% saline solution to create 200 milliliters of a 44% solution. And again, remember, we're adding this amount to get that amount. Milliliters per milliliters will equal milliliters, so units must be the same. Percentages per percentages will be equal to percentages. 200 times 0.44, that's about 88. I'm pretty sure that's 88. And this will be 0.50y. So, where is your system here? Well, this one is fully populated, so we're going to need to use x plus y equals 200. And we're going to need to use 0.10x plus 0.50y equals 88. Okay, now before we do things, I'm going to play around with this one because I don't like this. I never did. I never will. I'm going to multiply by 10 to get, multiply by 100 to get rid of the decimals. That'll give me 10x and a 50y, and that's going to give me an 8800. That'll just clear things out a little bit. If I divide now by 10, I'm going to get x plus 5y equals 880. But I also notice here have x plus y equals 200. Okay, so if I subtract one from the other, right, I'm going to get x minus x, because it's be gone. 5y minus 1y will be 4y. 880 minus 200 is 680. And that's going to give me 2 into 34, 170. So I know that y should be equal to 170 milliliters. Okay, let me just make sure my math should be okay, but I'd like to make sure. 1734. Nope, I'm going to go for it. And that's because it fits. Because 170 going here would demand that x be 30. And that should be our answer. So that's what we're going to put here. Again, take it slowly. Once you start doing a bunch of these, you start seeing patterns emerge, and they become much easier. But you do have to go through this sometimes. And we got that right. Okay, so I'm going to hit the next question button. I'm going to clear my screen, go to the next screen. Let's see what we have to do here. This is a coffee problem. All right, so same things before, multiplying across, adding down. I'm not going to put the guide. You just, well, I guess I will. Multiplying across, adding down. Let's put it together. So we're going to have a Tanzanian coffee blend that sells for $8.70 per. Let's put it for X. And we're going to put it with an organic free trade coffee that sells for $11 per pound. I'm not even going to put a decimal there. And we have Y for that. And we're going to want to create 50 pounds of a coffee. Okay, so this will be 50. That sells for $9.21 per pound. How much kind of coffee? All right, well, multiply through. You're going to have 8.7x. You're also going to have 11y. And this will be 9.21 times 50. 9.21 times 50 is equal to 460.5. So remember that. Hang on, hit the wrong key. 460.5. I just want to make sure that's right. 9.21 times 50, 460.5. Yep, okay. So we're going to go back to this. Now, again, like the last problem, you've got this fully occupied, so we can use it. X plus y equals 50. And this column is fully occupied, so use that. 8.7x plus 11y equals 460.5. All right, so what I think the best thing to do is to take the first row and multiply everything by 8.7. I'm going to say 8.7. Why not? Why not? So I'm going to apply this whole line by 8.7. And that's going to give me 8.7x and 8.7y equals 50 times 8.7. Well, 50 times 8.7 is 435. Okay, so we're going to go to 435 here. 435.0, because we're going to need to keep track of that. All right, so this is not going to be gone when we subtract it out. 11 minus 8 is 3. Minus 0.7 is 2.3. Check your math, but you should be right. Okay. And this is subtracting out, so 5 and behind a decimal. 10 minus 5 is 5. 5 minus 3 is 2. 25.5. Divide both sides. 25.5 divided by 2.3 is 11.08. 11.08. To nearest whole number. So we're going to leave it at 11. So y is equal to 11. And again, it fits. Because if y is equal to 11, then it means that x must equal 39. And that's what we're going to put down for each one. So we're going to have, oops, hit the wrong button. Put it back. 39 of the first and 11 of the second. Hit submit. And we got that right. I hope you're seeing what I'm seeing, that these are easier the more you do them. All right. Next problem. How far along are we? We have 4 done. No, we have 3 done. Okay, so we're going to now set up the next problem. Same exact thing we did before. Some idiot out there with a boombox. All right, here we go. Okay, another alcohol problem. So you know what goes on here. You know what the tricks are. You know what all the situations, the dangers are. Everything's going to be the same. So we need to have 560 milliliters of 55% solution. And you have a 20% alcohol mixture. So we're going to fill that in right away because we don't want to waste time with that. 560 times 0.55. 308. Okay. 308. What else do we have? Okay. Okay, now this is one of the ones I'm talking about where it says that it's pure alcohol. And if it's pure alcohol, that means that it's 100%. And if that's 100%, that means that it's just number 1. 1 is 100%. So that's what's going to come here. Again, we have a fully populated system. We have x plus y equals 560. And we have 0.20x plus y equals 308. Okay, you can see that these are going to disappear, right? Y minus y will be nothing. 560 minus 308. Well, 60 minus 8 is 52. 5 minus 3 is 2. And this is 100 minus 0.20, which is 0.80x. I'm going to actually go ahead and do it directly now. 252 divided by 0.8. 252 divided by 0.8 gives us 315 exactly. So we know that x is equal to 315. The question is, does it make sense? It does, because it's a smaller amount. So 315 here, okay? And that means we have to make up the difference with the y. So that's going to be 45 to get to 60, and 2 to get to 5. That should be 245. So 245 of one, 315 of the other should be our answer. Let's see if we're right here. 315 and 245. Hit it. We got it right. Once again, I'm really stressing that these are easy the more you do and the more you get used to the syntax of what we are doing. I hope that's getting through to you here. Okay, new problem. Is this it? That's one. Okay, we didn't do this one yet. Okay, let's go for it. Okay, now if you want, you can pause and try to do it and come back and see if we do the same thing. Okay, you can choose to do that. I'm going to press a hit and let's set it up. Okay, so I know we need this. And what else do we have? We have 105 of 0.65. We're going to have to do that, so let's do it. 68.25 is 1. All right. And pure water. Now, if there's pure water, the question is how much alcohol is in it? And the answer is 0% alcohol. It's pure water. This is where I'm telling you these things come up. So you have to watch out for those. That's going to give us a 0 here, which is great, because now we just have to figure out what we need to do. So you're going to have 105 milliliters plus whatever other milliliters for total milliliters. We have to multiply across. 105 times 0.35 is 36.75 plus 0.35 y. Almost ran out of space there. And putting it all together will give us what we want. We only have one variable, so it's kind of easy. 68.25 is equal to, plus nothing, right, is equal to 36.75 plus 0.35y. Okay, so as we're back, let's see what we can do here. Okay, let's do some subtraction and dividing. 68.25 minus 36.75 will give us 31.5. But I'm going to push forward and divide that. Divide that by 0.35. And that'll give me a result of exactly 90. That's always a good sign, because if it's an exact number, usually it tends to be right. So I've got y is equal to 90. And if y is equal to 90, then this total would be 195. I don't know what it's asking for, but I'm going to go for it anyway. So I'm going to need 90 milliliters of pure water, according to this problem. 90 milliliters of pure water to obtain 195, there you go, milliliters of the 35% solution. Let's see what happens. Okay. I'm living with the angels because it's taking it. Let's see how far further we can go. Okay, new problem. Okay, this is our last problem here. And again, stop it if you want to keep going on your own. All right, it's okay to do that. There's no problem with that. Let's see what we have. Okay, this one's going to be a little bit easier, 10%. I have 110 milliliters of a 0.55 alcohol mixture. And again, it's pure water, so 0 alcohol. It's a Y. And let's see, 110 times 0.55 is 60.5. This will be 0. This is 110 plus y one more time for the same reason as before. Now this one's a little bit easier to do because this is just dividing by 10. So 110 divided by 10 is 11 plus 0.10y, and now we're ready to roll. There's only one variable, so we can just go ahead and do 60.5 plus 0, we don't put it, is equal to 11 plus 0.10y. Okay, 60.5 minus 10 is 50.5, minus one more is 49.5. Just to show you, you can do this in your head, really. And it's going to be 0.10y. Well, in order to get rid of that 0.10, that's dividing by 10. I'm going to multiply this by 10. So that's going to give me 495 is equal to my y. And if this is 495, then 110 plus 495 will give me 605. So I think that's what we need here. So I'm going to put that down as 495 milliliters of pure water. And total, I just brain farted, 605 of the desired solution. This should be right. Everything looks like it fits. Everything makes sense. Hit it. And we got it right. And it looks like that's the end of our run for this one. I hope it helps. We'll see. But I'll check you in the middle in the next video.